Franz Wagner is heading back to Eurobasket. Why the next leap comes in the tournament this summer. Today on Locked On Magic.
You are Locked On Magic, your daily Orlando Magic podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
And you are indeed Locked On Magic. Today is July 22nd, 2025. My name is Philip Rossman-Reich. I'm the senior writer over at OrlandoMagicDaily.com, credentialed member of the Orlando Magic media since the 2012 season. On today's episode of Locked On Magic, Franz Wagner is set to return to Team Germany this summer for Eurobasket. The next leap that he's going to take, as he's taken leap every year he's played for the national team, and why all eyes are indeed on Franz Wagner. We'll get to that, plus more Eurobasket notes to get you set for the big tournament coming up here in just a moment. But first, we want to thank you again for making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. No matter when you listen to us, whether it's first thing in the morning, whether it's right when we upload, we truly appreciate you making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. We truly appreciate all of our Orlando Magic dailies who listen all 5 days a week. We are going to scale back starting next week to 3 or 4 episodes where we'll not be as heavy as we get into the later part of the summer, but we appreciate everyone who makes Locked On Magic part of your day every day. The Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. It was completely expected. And look, I'm sure I'll get some notes about this in the comments. Franz Wagner is going to play at Eurobasket this summer. Germany released their official training camp roster. They'll begin camp here in the next couple weeks. Actually, next week it looks like. Franz Wagner was always going to play. The surprise is that he was being joined by Tristan da Silva, who will be part of at least training camp. We'll get to him at the end of the show. But Franz Wagner was always going to be a part of this tournament. So whatever you want to say about it, frankly, my opinion has always been, I'm never going to stop a player from representing his country. It's important. It's certainly important to Franz. He's made that very, very clear how influential he wants to be in German basketball. He's obviously at this point, the most decorated international German basketball player in these international competitions. He's won more medals already, I think, than Dirk. He's won a gold medal in the World Cup, Germany's first. The only thing that they missed was not winning a medal last year in Paris. International basketball has been important for Franz Wagner, not just because it's giving back to Germany. And if the NBA ever does play games in Berlin, you better bet the Orlando Magic are going to play in those games. They'll pay a Berlin tax because he's that important to growth in that country. These tournaments, though, are not just about representing your country. It's obviously that's the big thing, and they're high leverage, high pressure games. And generally, I'm not going to be against a player playing those either. Steve Clifford was a huge fan of players playing international competitions. They came to camp ready to go. They came to camp ready to play, already playing at a high level. It helps boost the start of their seasons. It boosted the start of Franz's season. It's boosted the start of Franz's season every year since he's been with the Magic. And while, yes, I will agree that, okay, getting a summer off might be nice, a full summer, an extra month to work on his game. The fact of the matter is, Franz has had 2 months to work on his game. And now he gets a month and a half to implement that work into game action. That's going to be valuable. So, yes, there are arguments. There's always a risk of injury, that you play that risk of injury even when you're doing your individual workouts. Franz has had little nicks and bruises. He sprained his ankle and had to miss time in 2 of the 3 tournaments he's played. But generally, these international competitions have been very good for him. We didn't know really what to make of Franz Wagner when he was a rookie. It was like, oh, this is an interesting young player. He's burst onto the scene. What is he really? Is he truly a potential star? And then he went to Eurobasket, 4 years ago now, and was the star and was simply incredible the entire tournament and made his presence felt. And it was like, oh, this guy is a revelation. He had a strong second season, obviously. Then he went back to the World Cup and was even better. even with the hints of his shooting struggles, and yes, we'll talk about that in a minute, even with the hints of his shooting struggles, Franz elevated his game. Did the same last year at the Olympics. Continued to elevate his game. What international competition has done for Franz Wagner is it has shown us the ceiling. It has shown us that he isn't near his ceiling, that he's going to continue to get better. And every time he goes and plays for his national team, he takes another leap. Sometimes that leap is over Victor Wembanyama and through the French defense, but he takes a leap every time we see him play in these tournaments. Ultimately, that's what the Magic want to see. That's what has been so good for his development. He has used these tournaments to get better, to expand his game, to show his confidence, to be a leader. And to say the least, he is a leader now on this German national team. Yes, Dennis Schroeder is still there. Yes, there are still more veteran players. But this is a group that has been together now. The pecking order is established, and while Schroeder still has a very, very large role, everyone recognizes Franz as a star, as a guy that every team has to worry about. They're generally pretty happy if Schroeder's taking all the shots, even though Schroeder is a demon in the best ways in these games and in these tournaments. Franz uses these tournaments to showcase who he is. And obviously, there is still a leap to go. And we're going to talk about the shooting stuff here in a minute. And it is a big deal because the hints and the previews of his shooting struggles came in that World Cup, came in the Olympics. And we brushed them off and said small sample, and it turned out to be a bigger deal. Obviously, the injury with the oblique hurt him last year and wasn't everything. But it's also clear that Franz has another leap to make. It's also clear Franz can continue to get better. And we saw that obviously begin to develop last year when Paolo was out, that Franz can be a better leader, can be a more forceful player, can take over games. Just like he learned how to do that in the Olympics, in the World Cup, in Eurobasket, he now gets to do it again in Eurobasket. And ultimately, that's only going to help his NBA profile. That's only going to help him be a better player for the Orlando Magic. Now, the Magic are not just sitting idly by anyway. Brett Brillmeyer is not on the German national team staff, but Randy Gregory is. The Magic will have staff with Franz Wagner for this tournament. So it is not like the Magic aren't involved at all in this. The Magic are invested in him too. They are invested in this run. They are invested in this team. They're invested in this as a tool for Franz's growth. And there's no reason to think that Franz won't come out of this tournament the same way he came out of the last 3 tournaments that he's played for his national team. A significantly better player. Obviously, the area that he needs to improve the most is the clearest one. So we got to talk about it. We got to break it down. We got to ask the question, how does Franz Wagner become a better shooter? Why all eyes on this tournament are on Franz's 3-point field goal percentage. We're going to get to that coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by our friends over at Monarch Money. Ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. It's very easy to lose track of what you're spending. So having it all in front of you helps so much. Seeing how much you're ordering takeout and eating out, seeing how much you spend on groceries, seeing how much you're spending on subscriptions gives you the power to control that spending. Knowing how much you're spending makes it easier to find ways to cut, find ways that you might be wasting it, even if you don't need to cut. Find ways to save you money. Knowledge is power. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year. Obviously, then, there's one thing we're all watching. Like, we know what Franz is going to do. We know that he can be a lead guy. He can be a lead guy. He can be a lead scorer. We know he's going to average somewhere near 20 points per game in these 40-minute games. He's going to lead Germany deep into the tournament, whether they win a medal or not. It's a very competitive field. We're expecting that Luka Doncic is going to play. Nikola Jokic is going to play. All the usual characters are going to be there. It's Germany, Serbia, France. All the usual characters are going to be involved in this tournament. I'm actually going to look up to see if FanDuel has odds on the tournament, if you allow me to stall just a little bit. Let's see. I don't know if they have it up here. Yeah, I'm not seeing them. I don't see that they have Eurobasket odds yet. Get on that, FanDuel. But nevertheless, we know what Franz is going to do. The ultimate wild card is his shooting, is his three-point shooting. That is the area that he needs to improve the most. And look, there's two sides of this debate about playing international basketball. Again, I very much fall on the side of representing your country is an extreme honor. Not all of us get the chance to do that. Certainly not all of us want to be in the military. This is his way of doing service to his country. And I am all for that. I am all for having that patriotism, having that pride, doing all of that. Absolutely a fan of that, and I'm not going to begrudge him that at all. Obviously, though, we all need to see Franz Wagner working on his shot. We all need to see him improve his three-point shooting. After two really solid seasons to open his career from three, shooting 35.4% and 36.1%, Franz Wagner backed down to 28.1% in 2024, and theoretically improved to 29.5% in 2025. Before the injury, he shot 32.1%. After the injury, he shot 27.5%. He shot 7 for 37. That's 18.9% in the playoffs. And we all saw it looked like a hitch in his shot. I would argue it looked like he was changing his form, trying to create more up and down motion, trying to create more arc. He never really answered the question. He was very, very sure when asked about his three-point shooting struggles. Never really got clear answers. And, you know, at the end of the day, the proof is going to be in the work. The proof is going to be on the court. And so for us fans, for us watching, Eurobasket and this tournament is going to give us our first real look at whether Franz has improved his three-point shot and whether he has confidence in it, whether he's shooting a bunch of threes, whether he's avoiding shooting threes, whether he's hesitating, whether he's making, whether he's missing. We're going to know before the season begins whether Franz has taken that step, whether Franz is an improved three-point shooter. Now, again, granted, every other part of his game has worked brilliantly. He is an efficient finisher at the rim. He added the mid-range shot to his game and made a decent amount of them. He is excellent at the foul line. Him missing free throws is a shock. The only thing missing is a three-point shot. And if he adds that, he is a surefire all-star and a potential all-NBA player. I would argue he's a potential all-defensive team player too. People don't want to hear that argument so much, but he's got to add all this to his game. He's got to improve in this way. And that is the question. If he's going to shoot 6 attempts per game like he did last year, he's got to make at least 2. He can't go 1 for 6 every game. Can't go 1 for 5 every game. He's got to make 2 or 3 threes a game if he's going to shoot at that volume. No doubt, the Magic know they need better shooting. The Magic know they need to make threes. They went out and grabbed Desmond Bane. They went out and grabbed Tyus Jones. They're betting that a more balanced offensive attack with more offensive-minded players will get Jalen Suggs to take more efficient shots. Will give Paolo Banchero the space to be more efficient, to maybe get some spot-up threes as well. But at the end of the day, and we've talked about this with Paolo and his mid-range game, at the end of the day, success is going to come from the Magic's two best players improving. So we talk about how Paolo needs to be a more efficient mid-range shooter, and the Magic added some spacing around him to get there. But it also means Franz has to pull his weight and be a respectable three-point shooter. To be the three-point shooter he looked like early in his career, that he looked like, frankly, early in the season before he started having to take on such a larger offensive role, before the injury derailed his season, before whatever he's doing to his shot made it look that ugly, to be perfectly honest. Franz Wagner has to deliver from beyond the arc. He has to be respectable. He has to be confident there if the Magic are going to take this leap. And so as we get ready for Eurobasket, as we prepare for this tournament, as we prepare for this showcase, because that's what it is a showcase for Franz Wagner, where he is the lead player, or one of the leading players for Germany. He is taking on a bigger role. He has exceeded all expectations in these tournaments. He's got to deliver from three, because that's what Germany's going to need to win this thing. And Germany, I don't know if they're the favorite. I don't think they're the favorite to win this tournament. They're one of the favorites. They'll be a favorite to medal. If Germany's going to win this thing, it starts with Franz and everything he does. It starts with him making some threes. It starts with him being more efficient and effective from three. The Magic don't need much, because Franz is going to do a lot more to score. He's going to get to 24, 25 points per game again this year. Maybe he'll be around 23. He's going to score plenty. But with Desmond Bane in the mix, another playmaker, the Magic need him to pick up his shooting slack. That part of his game may not be quite on display in this tournament, because obviously Dennis Schroeder is a big playmaker. Franz is a big playmaker. This Germany team is styled more like the Magic with better shooting, like a Maudo Low, Johannes Voigtman, Johannes Thiemann. They got some shooters. Matthias Obst. They got some shooters. Tristan da Silva. They got some shooters. They got more shooters than the Magic have. And so that makes Franz's playmaking and ability to attack the basket that much easier. But for the Magic, they need to see that three-point improvement. It's not rocket science. But Franz has been in a descent from three for the last two seasons. These tournaments previewed that. And now it's time to see if he has put in the work and I know he's put in the work this summer. Now it's time to see if that work has paid off with some results. And we're going to know in late August. We're going to know in a couple weeks when Germany plays their first game on August 8th against Slovenia. We're going to know just where Franz is at and how much better he's going to be this season. Franz is not the only Magic player on Team Germany, and it is not his brother. He's also not the only Magic player in the tournament. We'll talk a little bit more about what it means that Tristan da Silva is going to Eurobasket, and a little bit about Goga Bitadze on Georgia. There's much to say about that. We'll get to that coming up here in just a moment. So we got about a month to go before Eurobasket actually begins. So let's start there. The tournament does not begin until, I believe, like August 28th, 29th, late August. We're going to get a string of friendlies, string of exhibition games coming up here in the next couple of weeks. Like I said, August 8th, we're going to see Germany play Slovenia. They're going to play the DBB Super Cup the next weekend. That'll be against Turkey and then another team. And then they have a home and home against Spain. Always good Spain. So we're going to get some high-level matchups featuring Franz Wagner, featuring Tristan da Silva as well. A little bit of a surprise on this, but Tristan da Silva, whose brother Oscar has been a mainstay on the German national team, Tristan da Silva will be in at least training camp, was named to the training camp roster for the German national team. They have 16 players on that roster. They got to cut it down to 12 before the tournament begins. We will see if Tristan da Silva is on that team, but certainly a big, big step for Tristan. And I'm so happy for him and so very, very proud, so very, very happy that he is going to be part of this group and potentially part of this national team. Again, like this is also declaring that Tristan da Silva will play for Germany instead of Brazil. I think he's certainly got more ties to Germany than Brazil. So I think this is a huge, huge win for him. And again, very, very happy. Again, like I'm never going to begrudge someone playing for their national team. I always think that's a good thing. But like Franz Wagner, this is another opportunity for Tristan da Silva to prove himself. We've hinted at this. We've previewed this a little bit. We certainly looked at it a lot in Summer League. Tristan da Silva is set to have a bigger role for the Orlando Magic next season. Tristan da Silva is set to be a bigger factor for this team. The Magic are short on wings. Yeah, they got Jonathan Isaac. Yeah, they got Jet Howard, but like Jet Howard is not really a rotation player. Tristan da Silva played a lot last year. Unless the Magic are planning to play Anthony Black at the 3 with Jace Richardson and Tyus Jones, which is way too small for this Magic team, Tristan da Silva is set to play rotation minutes for the Magic. If you go around some of the other podcasts like the Kevin O'Connor show, Bobby Marks of ESPN said he thinks the Magic need one more microwave scoring wing to really complete their roster. Now, I don't think Tristan da Silva will ever really be that, and so I do kind of agree that they need that somewhere on this team. But Tristan is going to be a major factor for this team. Tristan is going to play. He is going to be relied on to be a solid defender and a great spot-up shooter. Now, at Summer League, the Magic wanted to test his aggression. A big part of what they all said about what they wanted to see from him in Summer League and in the 2 games that he played was to be aggressive, to hunt for his own shot a little bit, to look like he was the second-year player in the group. He largely did. I'm not going to sit here to say it was a smashing success, but Tristan da Silva, again, derived in that Summer League environment, scored a lot of points, did everything the Magic asked for, didn't try to push things too much. And then when he did, yeah, he was up and down with it. But he made open shots when he got them, and the things that the Magic are going to ask him to do in the regular season, he largely did. Where Summer League was a chance to show that Tristan da Silva was more aggressive and more comfortable and ready for a bigger role with this team. Any work that he's getting with the German national team, anything we see from him on the court, and again, I don't even know if he's going to play. This is a very established group. He's the rookie of the group. He's good enough to get some minutes. I'm not going to sit here and say that he's not good enough to earn minutes, but he's got to earn them. And the way that the German national team is more likely to use him is closer to what the Magic are going to look for. The things that will make him successful, the things that will get him on the Eurobasket roster are the things that will lead to success with the Magic. Defense, being an excellent defender, fitting in, not trying to do too much, making three-point shots, finding gaps to be aggressive when it calls for it. That's what it's going to take for him to be successful for Team Germany, just like that's what it's going to take for him to be successful with the Magic themselves. Again, I am a big believer in if you have the opportunity to represent your country, you go represent your country. You go do it. It's important. It's important to these guys. If Team USA called you to play, you'd answer. Hey, that's an incredible honor. You'd answer that call. Paolo Banchero certainly did. And Paolo Banchero is going to play at the World Cup, most likely in 2029. He's going to be an all-NBA player by then, or in 2027. He's going to play at the Olympics in 2028. I don't see any way he's not on those teams. Steve Kerr knows him. The whole Team USA system knows him. He's going to be one of the 10 best American players in the league by then. That's the reality. And so I'm excited for Tristan. I didn't expect this to happen. I thought Tristan was still a little bit of ways away. I didn't expect him to be on the training camp roster, but he's going to have his work cut out for him to get there. And the Magic should be excited to see that because, again, it's free information. It's them seeing where are these guys under pressure situations. And ultimately, that's what matters. We talked about this a lot in the early days because the Magic didn't have a lot of playoff experience. So getting Franz Wagner in a knockout tournament was huge. It's like, it's not the playoffs, but it's pressure games. And frankly, we could talk about going out into a gym, doing workouts, doing drills, and doing all that stuff. None of it matters until it's tested out in these pressure games. And so seeing these guys play these pressure-packed games is humongous. It is the entire thing. It is a big deal. And that's what excites me about this tournament. That's what excites me about where the Magic are heading and what these players are going to be able to get to do. It is hugely exciting to see these players in this environment, in this setting. And I, for one, cannot wait to see these players in action. Because those two aren't the only ones, obviously. Goga Bitadze will play for the Georgia national team. They released their roster late last week or over the weekend. And again, like Goga is clearly a really good player. He was the last tournament they were in the was it Eurobasket or was it the World Cup? The last tournament that they played in, I believe it was the World Cup. Goga was playing behind kind of a veteran player in that group. He was clearly better. He'd come in pretty quickly. But he was playing behind a legend. I would like to see Goga start this year. I think he's clearly the best center that they've got. We'll see. And Georgia's not expected medal. They'll be kind of in and out of the tournament very, very quickly. But, we need to see Goga take a bounce back too. We'll talk about the centers tomorrow. Tomorrow's the centers day because I don't want to skip over. The Magic did sign a two-way player today. Orlando Robinson, guy not on the Summer League roster. I don't think he even played Summer League this year. We'll talk about what he brings, why he's important. We'll talk about the whole center situation tomorrow. But Goga Bitadze has a lot to prove too. He really struggled after his concussion in January. And while the Magic were able to get by, he's hugely important now for a number of reasons. He's hugely important. And we need to see him bounce back as well. Eurobasket's going to be a lot of fun. It's a great tournament. If you've never watched Eurobasket, the whole thing will be streaming on ESPN Plus, I believe. If you've never watched Eurobasket, they're playing it like Poland. I think the main games are in Poland. They're playing in a bunch of different countries in Europe. The crowds are amazing. It is super intense. It's great. It's so much fun for late August basketball, early September basketball. It is so much fun. And I think I'm really excited for this tournament. It's going to be a really, really good tournament. And obviously we have a very vested interest. We're going to cover this tournament heavy. I go heavy on the tournament coverage. So we'll talk about Eurobasket stuff as we get closer. We're certainly going to follow Franz. We're going to follow Goga. We'll follow Tristan if he makes it. We'll follow Germany and Georgia as they make their way through the tournament. Should be a whole lot of fun. But that's going to do it for me today. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. You can, of course, find me on Twitter at PhilipRR_OMD. And on Blue Sky at PhilipRR. You can subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Himalaya, Google Play, Spotify, Odyssey, and all the phone links to download podcasts to your podcast-enabled listening device. You can also follow us on YouTube at Locked On Magic. For the latest on the Orlando Magic, be sure to check out OrlandoMagicDaily.com. You can find us on Twitter at OMagicDaily. And for even more Orlando Magic content, be sure to check out my Patreon page, Orlando Magic Hub, at patreon.com/Orlando Magic Hub. As always, thank you for your support. Now that you're done listening to Locked On Magic, go make the Locked On NBA podcast your second listen of the day. There is no offseason in the NBA. We know that. So Doug, Matt, and Hayes keep you up to date on contract negotiations, rumors, and everything you need to be the most informed NBA fan. Find Locked On NBA on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. It's all part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. That's going to do it for me today, though. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. Like I said, on tomorrow's episode of Locked On Magic, we're going to put the center position in the spotlight. We talked about Wendell Carter yesterday. We'll talk about him again tomorrow, plus the signing of Orlando Robinson, what that means for the Magic. We'll get to the whole center position on tomorrow's episode of Locked On Magic. But until then, for Orlando Magic Daily and Locked On Magic, this has been Philip Rossman-Reich. See you all again next time for another episode of Locked On Magic.